Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Calhoun's. And from November 20th through December 25th, let Calhoun's fix your holiday meal for you. Sure, they'll be open on the holidays as always, but I'm talking about their holiday Feed 5 and Feed 10 family packs. Smoked turkey, dressing, vegetables, cranberry sauce, even dessert. Call and order yours this week. Don't do the cooking yourself. Let Calhoun's do it for you. Just go pick it up. That's the holiday way. That's the way to celebrate the holidays. Let Calhoun's do the work. Calhoun's holiday packs. Find them this week. Sir, learn more at calhouns.com. All right, let's see if I can say something without stumbling today. We got a couple of new folks on the panel right now. We got VFL Brian Randolph. Down there, we got Chuck Cavaleris. I got your names right. Maybe that'll be a fresh start to the show. All right, this is our Hot Read segment. Each pair gets a question. I'm going to start with Brian and Will. The Keller Christ fans finally got what they wanted and saw the backup quarterback for basically a full game. The results? Not great. Christ was 7 of 19 for 173 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, the same number Garantano has thrown all season. I'm not trying to beat up on him. Lord knows his offensive line let him get beat up enough yesterday. Yeah. But with this guy, I mean, you saw that same thing happened against Alabama. He looked good for the first couple of series, gave him a spark, and then the offense kind of went south again. He got beat up, made a couple of bad decisions. Your thoughts on Keller Christ? And I've heard it all year that, well, they should be playing Christ. Now that you've seen Keller Christ, should they have been playing Christ?
Nah. I don't want to be hard on him either because he's obviously not the quarterback that Jared is. He's not as talented as a quarterback, but you can't go in there and make the game-ending plays. As a quarterback, you can't be expected to win the game, but you definitely can't give the game away, and that's what he did yesterday with a crucial pick. You mentioned he threw 2 picks yesterday as much as Jared all year. That's not good, but besides that, he's in a tough situation coming from across the nation, never been here before in a new scheme. So I don't want to beat up on him too bad, but he didn't have the best day.
I said all year, I don't think your problem with this team is at quarterback. I say the same thing. I think that proves that you didn't have some Messiah sitting on there's a pun there with his name, but you didn't have somebody sitting on the sideline waiting to come in that's going to fix everything. Will, your thoughts on the Chris Garantano stuff?
I think it never puts it aside because whoever's the second string quarterback always has fans that think he can come in if he gets a little more practice time. If he was with the first string more often, he'd have been great. No, listen, you put a guy behind this offensive line, and for a few times he hadn't gotten hit. Then he gets waylaid once or twice, and then he says, hey, I don't have much time. I better throw this fast because I'm going to start getting hit a lot. That's every quarterback. That's what this group has to go into. So no matter who you put back there, even if they were good, they're going to look average. It just doesn't matter. Those guys get hit enough, they become human. They're not superhuman guys back there that can make guys miss. And so with this team, you look at it, Garantano's the best guy because he doesn't turn the ball over. And if you have this level of talent in a team, a guy that does turn it over has to be your second string guy.
We had a caller this morning that liked Chris because he made the tackle on the interception.
Oh, okay. Well,
that wouldn't be my criteria.
Way to hustle back 76 yards.
Let me give this one to Chuck and Jimmy down here. It's kind of a two-parter. Garantano left the game yesterday with a concussion. I wonder how many concussions he's had this year. I mean, he's been hit by truck after truck out there at least once a game. Yes. But let's take the concussion thing out. Now, if he's had multiple concussions, that's a concern moving forward too. But let's just look at it this way. He's been knocked out of 3 games. We've talked about how tough he is, and I believe he is. He's still been knocked out of 3 games this year. I'd been thinking all along, well, your quarterback situation is settled for next year. Is it? Because you're not going to have Chris next year. You're going to have a kid in J.T. Shrout that's your backup redshirt freshman, won't have taken a snap, which is question B. 1, are you concerned about the quarterback spot for next year with Garantano's health issues? 2, should they have played Shrout yesterday? Because you can't blow a red shirt at this point.
Well, I think you owed it to Chris to get him the first chance to get in there, first of all.
Right.
I think
I just mean later in the game at some point.
And later, because it's not going to affect the redshirt status, so I can see that. And also, John, in the concern about Garantano, I'm concerned also for 2018, not just 2019 yet, and why they put him back in the game when clearly he had something serious go wrong.
Yeah.
Will, that stood out to you.
That stood out to me that when he's on the sideline holding his head like this, a doctor doesn't come over to him and grab him and start talking to him because clearly to me it looked like all the signs and symptoms of a concussion or at the very least of somebody you need to hold out and take a look at for a period of time before you go give them their helmet
And
back.
if you watch that hit again, guys, it was a reverse clothesline by the defensive end, gets the back of the neck and then drives the face mask in the face into the turf. And there was turf all in there. So that's like being in a car wreck. You get the whiplash effect. Yes, I mean, that's just terrible to me that Tennessee did not have or enforce a better policy to keep him from going back in the game.
Okay, and he looked woozy coming out.
But to the trainer's defense, he's been getting hit all year, so they might have just thought it was normal.
Yeah, it's just normal. Jimmy, I'll let you finish off here. One, are you concerned about the quarterback position for next year due to Garantano's health issues? A, one, A, whichever way you want to go with. Two, B, should they have played Shrout late in that game because he's going to be the guy next year, you would think?
I don't think playing Shrout late would have made much difference, but I have a much more concern about Garantano going forward. I think he's a good quarterback. I'll have concern for any quarterback that plays at Tennessee next year until the offensive line gets better. Because whoever that guy's going to be, unless this line gets better, is going to get beat up. So I do have that concern with Garantano. Is he going to be able to make it through a year? I don't know. But that's an issue. It's more of an offensive line issue to me than a Garantano issue.
Yeah, well, I think they go. That's what I'm getting at. You've got a guy who's been beaten to hell. So to me, I would play. If he's going to have to be your backup next year, I'd try and get Shrout some snaps here. Now that they've changed the rule and you can get him in there, I would have put him in late at scrub time rather than
I guess the baseball term, John, is time to get somebody warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, I had not been concerned about the position next year because I've thought all year, well, you got Garantano back.
Well,
okay, if he's going to be knocked out of a quarter of all the games next year, or if this concussion thing is not a one-time deal, then I got bigger concerns.
If it doesn't get better, it only gets worse.
Yeah. Drew Lock took up for Derek Dooley and let Vol Twitter hear it yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But next, our VFLs tell you what 3 areas must be improved ASAP if Tennessee's going to beat Vanderbilt. Come on back on the Sports Source.